So now we want to put on our mounts. And we have developed a set of mounts we call rocker foot mounts. And they come in a bag like this. This happens to be a 35 millimeter frame, so we want to use our 35 millimeter mount set. And when you open it up, you're going to see we have 4 of these things we call mount adapters. One for each corner of the panel. And then we have what we call our rocker feet. It has several holes in it. If you have a smooth metal or fiberglass roof, we can use this 3M double-sided sticky tape so you don't have to screw down into your roof to make this work for you. It'll stick. It's 80 pounds of shear force per square inch. There's 2.5 inches here. You end up with 4 feet. So that's 10 inches. So it would take 800 pounds of shear force to knock this panel off your roof. We haven't lost one yet when properly applied. So what we also have is a set of knobs. All this is stainless steel, laser cut, rounded edge, embedded stainless steel thread nuts. They're not dropping nuts and washers everywhere. So I'll show you how this all goes together. There are some instructions they come in it in case you're not watching this video. You can just read the instructions and figure it out. It's not rocket science, but it sure is handy. And then we have all the necessary stainless steel hardware to make everything work. So first off, when you buy panels from us, they already have holes in the proper place. And we're going to take this thing, we got this panel face down, this mount adapter has this lip right here. And so what that's for is to clip onto the panel. And then we line it up with this hole. And we're going to give you a close-up here. And you'll see that that hole isn't exactly centered on it. That's because we want to push this to get it to line up. And the reason for that is when we stick these bolts in from the bottom, we want that to hold it until we're ready, okay? So then we use what we call a nylock nut. It's got a little piece of nylon in the top, so you don't need lock washers. And in this case, we're using 6 millimeter. Seems like the U.S. is one of the only countries in the world that hasn't switched to metrics. So I take a 10 millimeter box end and grab this head, a 10 millimeter ratchet, and I just tighten it up. Got quite a few threads on that thing. So when you're done, we have that clamped down. That nylon nut doesn't let it come off with expansion and contraction or vibration. That lip sits against the face of this so it won't spin, this way. So it's like firmly attached to the module. And what that does is it presents the mounting hole to the end of the module. So then we take one of these T-knobs, UV resistant plastic, stainless steel, 1/4-20. Here we do use a lock washer. And then you just put it through one of the holes. I'm just choosing the middle one for no good reason right now. We don't know which hole is appropriate till we get it on the roof of the rig. And you notice I can spin this knob while it's sitting flat on the surface. So what we have now is we have our stainless steel mount adapter, our rocker foot mount. And so if you have a slightly rounded roof, then you can loosen this up and get it to fit your roof. That's the rocker foot, we call it. And so you can bring it up tight. So I'm going to do that one more time over here. And then I'm going to assume there's some of you who already have panels but want to use our mounts. They come in 35 millimeter and 40 millimeter, and again, that's the depths of your frame. Smaller panels tend to be 35 millimeter. The bigger ones, like our 160s, and usually have 40 millimeters, so you need a different bracket. All the rest of it's the same. So once again, on this end, we're gonna flip that lid over there, lip on there, clamp that down to the panel, stick our bolt up through the bottom, make sure that little spring action holds it in place. Get our nylock nut. Then we're going to stop it with this box end wrench. And then just ratchet that puppy on down until it's getting tight. Basically just go till you hit and give it about a quarter more turn, and that's on pretty tight. Again, T-knob, split lock washer, center hole on the L-fit, and stick it in. And then just tighten that up for now. Now, if you're in a situation where you have your own panel and you buy our knobs, of course we prefer you buy the whole set from us, then all the holes are there. But that's not always the case, and we know that. So I'm going to drill this end out to show you how that works if you have your own panel. Now, since we're going to be drilling through, we want to make sure once you break through you don't jab into this back material. So I take a thin piece of plywood and set it in there, so when I break through I hit that plywood instead of the back of the panel. Now we do this on various panels, so we went ahead and had a little jig made up with the holes in the proper place so that we drill in the right spot. Now those of you who don't have that, I'll show you in a minute how we do it that way. So this one, I just hold that plywood in, hold this firmly on the corner, then I'm in the right spot here. So I pop through and I hit this plywood instead of the back of the panel. Then I always just go ahead and suck these metal fibers out. So for those of you who don't want to go to the expense or effort to make a jig that'll give you the hole in the right place, what we do is you just take the mount adapter, you just click it on, and remember you want to flex it a little bit. So I take an indelible marker and I push this so it has that little spring action, and I mark my hole, okay? And I remove that. And then you do your best to drill in exactly the right spot. Remember to use your piece of wood. And you got to get this started right in the middle. It's not that difficult to do. Clean up that metal filings. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these other two adapters on. We got that guy. We got that guy. Let's grab our nuts here, our bolts. I bring the bolts up from the bottom and in, and then that again that holds it. So same over here. Stick it up in. Thing springs back, holds it. It's not dropping through the frame. Start our nylock nuts. tight. Grab our other two knobs, our feet, split washer. We started off with the middle hole, we'll do the same thing. You go through the hole and then into that embedded thread nut. Take it down. All you gotta do is get snug for now, just so things aren't dropping off as you haul up to your roof. Okay, so now we have prepped panel, the mount feet on it. Flip it over, lay it up on your roof. Again, if you had a rounded roof, you could move this foot whichever way to make it sit flat on your roof.